Hi again and welcome back to English Inspire. I'm Abdussalam and in this video we're gonna be looking at the IELTS writing task 1. First, I'll show you how to analyze and respond to task 1 writing. Then I'll give you homework to practice what you'll have learned from this video. But before we start, I would like you to go back and watch the previous video because it has all the essential information that you need to know about the IELTS writing module. Let's get started. As we mentioned earlier in the previous video, in writing task 1 on the academic test, you will write a report summarizing and comparing the main features of a graphic. The graphic may be a bar graph, line graph, chart, pie chart, table, diagram, or map, and sometimes you have a combination. The first step in task 1 writing is recognizing the type of graphic and the information it shows. Here, as you can see, we've got a bar graph. The next step in task 1 writing is determining the topic of the graphic by reading the graphic title and description. And as you can see in this bar graph, we've got the average cost of housing in 3 countries: Italy, Germany, and Norway in 2010 and 2015. We will use this information to write the topic sentence of the report. The third step in task 1 writing is to make comparisons. In task 1, you're asked to make comparisons. Look for things you can see and compare in the graphic, and you might see information about places, types of people, types of activities, products, and or changes over time. And we also need to look for similarities and differences among these things. If we have a closer look at this sample task, we can make 2 comparisons. The first comparison can be the average cost of housing in Italy, Germany, and Norway, and here we focused on the changes among the 3 countries. And the second comparison can be the average cost of housing in 2010 and 2015, and in this comparison we try to focus on the change over the period from 2010 to 2015. Having determined the comparisons, now we need to make an outline of what we're going to write about. An outline is a plan of what we will write. We need to start with the topic we determined, which is housing costs in Italy, Germany, and Norway in 2 different years. And the 2 comparisons we made: the average cost of housing in Italy, Germany, and Norway, and the average cost of housing in 2010 and 2015. Then we need to add supporting details to describe these comparisons. Here we need to look at the graphic for big changes or differences. For example, the difference in the costs of housing among the 3 countries, Italy, Germany, and Norway. We also need to look for numbers that go up or down. For example, the changes in housing costs in Italy, Germany, and Norway in the period from 2010 to 2015. Again, our focus here is on the change over the period from 2010 to 2015. Now we need to start our report with a brief introduction. The introduction states the topic and summarizes the ideas we will discuss in the report. The first sentence in our introduction is the topic sentence, which tells what the bar graph is about, and the topic sentence in this sample task is: the bar graph shows the average cost of housing in Italy, Germany, and Norway in 2010 and 2015. Now we need to use the 2 comparisons from our outline and add them to the topic sentence to write the introduction. The second sentence, housing costs were different in each of the 3 countries, corresponds to comparison 2. The third sentence, however, they rose significantly in the 3 countries in the time period shown on the graph, corresponds to comparison 2. The introduction is now complete and will look like this. The bar graph shows the average cost of housing in Italy, Germany and Norway in 2010 and 2015. Housing costs were different in each of these countries. However, they rose significantly in the three countries in the time period shown on the graph. After we write the introduction, we can start writing the first paragraph. We should write one paragraph for each of the comparisons in the outline we made. For the main idea of the first paragraph, we should write one sentence that summarizes the first comparison, and here we can say there was a significant difference in housing costs in the three countries in both 2010 and 2015. Then we write one or two sentences for each supporting detail. The first supporting detail in the first comparison in the outline can be written as: the average housing cost in Italy was the lowest at 75,000 euros in 2010 and 125,000 euros in 2015. The second supporting detail can be written as: the average housing cost in Germany was slightly higher than Italy in 2010 and a good deal higher in 2015. And the third supporting detail can be written as: in Norway, housing costs were the highest and were around twice as high as costs in Italy in both years. It's worth mentioning here that when we write the paragraphs, we must use verbs, nouns, adjectives, and adverbs to describe trends such as rose, decline, etc. I tried to summarize the most important words to describe trends in this table. After we finish writing the first paragraph, we can start writing the second paragraph using the same techniques we used to write paragraph 1. And the second paragraph can be written as: housing costs in the three countries rose between 2010 and 2015, and this can be the main idea of the second comparison. In Italy, average housing costs rose from 75,000 euros to 125,000 euros, and this corresponds to the first supporting detail in the second comparison. Meanwhile, average housing costs doubled in Norway, going from 150,000 euros to 300,000 euros, and this corresponds to the second supporting detail in the second comparison. On the other hand, average housing costs almost tripled in Germany, rising from 100,000 euros to 275,000 euros, and this corresponds to the third supporting detail in the second comparison. And the final step would be making conclusion. In the introduction, we state the comparisons that we will discuss in our report. The conclusion is similar. We conclude our report by making a general statement about the comparisons. And here remember that there are some phrases and words that you need to use to signal your conclusion, such as overall, finally, in conclusion, to sum up, etc. So this is how we conclude our report. Overall, average housing costs in Germany and Norway remained higher than Italy, but they rose significantly more in the time period shown on the graph. In this way, we wrote about 190 words for task 1, which is wonderful for our word count. And to practice what we learned from this video, I'm gonna leave you with homework to write just the introduction for this task in the comments below, following the same steps we mentioned today. That's it for today, and if you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a like, subscribing, and clicking the little bell icon to get notifications anytime we post new videos. Until next time, thanks for watching.